Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. Francisco Lindor met with the media today, and he said that he is taking everything step by step. That means two things. First, he wants to play as soon as possible, but he doesn't want to rush anything. As far as a long-term contract is concerned, he doesn't seem interested in that either. What did you think he'd say? First, he did the mandatory statement that he loves Cleveland. What do you expect him to say there also? Next, he said he'll worry about the contract when the time comes. Let me interpret that for you. He's gone in 3 years. Enjoy him while you've got him. And oh yeah, it's not Paul Dolan's fault. More sports and Les Levine starts right now. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine on a Monday night, it's a brand new week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into our 23rd consecutive year. And, of course, seen exclusively here on cleveland.com. Exclusively with us tonight from the, where are you from? Jim Ingraham, you're from what? Chronicle Telegram.
Chronicle Telegram, that's right.
Did I get that right?
You did.
I haven't seen you in a long time, so I forgot what it was.
No, that's still there.
How are you?
Good, very good, yeah.
Is it going to be a baseball season this year?
Yeah, but I wonder if Bryce Harper and Manny Machado will be involved.
Going to take part?
Yeah.
How are they getting away with it?
The owners?
Whoever's getting away with something. I mean, first of all, Machado and Harper, they made up the number $300 million, didn't they?
Well, either they or their agents did,
yeah.
And then obviously.
Then you assume that's the starting point.
Well, that's what they thought. It might be the ending point because it doesn't look like they're going to get it, but maybe they will. I don't know. It's like a game of chicken right now between the two sides.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later. 216-575-0403 is the number to call, and you can email us during the show at realleslavine@gmail.com. Jim Ingraham is with us, longtime coverage of the Cleveland Indians. But you also wrote recently about Jimmy Haslam and the Cleveland Browns, and all seems well and good except for maybe signing a guy a little bit too early.
You mean Kareem Hunt?
Yeah.
Well, that didn't surprise me at all, by the way. I thought as soon as the Chiefs got rid of him, I thought this has got the Browns written all over it because obviously Dorsey drafted him for the Chiefs. Hunt's from Cleveland.
Right.
And
which may not be good, the Cleveland part.
Well, I originally thought it would be good because, that's where he's from. But, reading about his home life, which hasn't been great,
right.
Maybe it isn't good. I don't know. This is where you presume where his friends are, and that may not be good given the history that's gone on there. So I don't know. I just think that the Dorsey factor was the big swaying thing in my mind.
All right. You also talked about Jimmy Haslam and that, and Haslam and Jimmy Haslam kind of conspicuous by their absence in talking about Hunt. Mm-hmm. Did you think they should have been out front?
In normal circumstances, yes, but this isn't normal circumstances. And I mean, I think it's further evidence that they're trying to step away from the everydayness of the job, and I think they're letting Dorsey kind of handle all this stuff, which I applaud wholeheartedly, by the way.
Well, I think we all do, but it was also an easy out where they don't have to face the music on that.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe they're going to wait till they find out what the suspension is and when they know the date of when he's going to actually play for the team.
Do you find it interesting that the NFL doesn't have a list of guys that you can and can't touch? In other words, if whatever justice is going to be served here on by Goodell, wouldn't you think that it would not be possible for the Browns or any other team to contact Hunt at that point, or is that okay with you? I mean, they don't know what this is buyer beware. They don't know what they're buying.
Yeah, right, and that's exactly what it is. And who wants this guy bad enough to be the first one in with an offer? And clearly it was the Browns, and they're willing to wait however long it takes. I mean, even if it wouldn't have been the Browns, whoever signed him. There is a downside because of the PR angle of it, but as far as the player goes, there's no downside if you're just waiting for this guy to be not suspended so you can play him.
Let's just talk football purposes at this point. A great move or not a great move?
I think from a football standpoint, it on paper doesn't seem like a necessary move, but anytime you can add a Pro Bowl player at any position, unless you're the Patriots and win the championship every year, I think it's a good thing to do.
I heard some people say, well, Nick Chubb is not going to be happy with it. At this point, you don't care what Nick Chubb feels.
No, and that'll work itself out. But I mean, this will maybe potentially make Chubb better. I mean, if you got two guys that can do, what those two guys have shown they can do, maybe it lengthens both of their careers.
All right, let's take a look at Jimmy Haslam, who's come under a lot of criticism over the years, and rightfully so. But now, and you talked about this, you see that the first-round draft history early on, none of these players still on the team from 2013 to 2016. Look at those names: Barkevius Mingo, Justin Gilbert, and Johnny Manziel, which is the mother of all bad drafts. Danny Shelton and Cameron Irving and Corey Coleman, none still on the team. But now we go to the next page, and we look at Myles Garrett, Jabril Peppers, David Njoku, and then you have Baker Mayfield and Denzel Ward, all still on the team. Of course, it's early, but I don't see any of these players not making it.
No, it's like night and day, those two lists you just showed. Right. And I think a lot of it, especially the most recent draft, obviously, the credit goes to Dorsey, because those were mostly his picks, and not all of them were obvious ones.
216-575-0403 is the number to call if you'd like to get in. We're doing this live from 6 until 7 Eastern Time, and of course you can check us out all day long on cleveland.com. Jim Ingraham is with us. You watched every minute of the All-Star game last night, right? The NBA?
Actually, I missed every minute.
You missed it consecutively.
Yeah. I heard there wasn't going to be any defense again, so I figured, who needs to watch a layup drill?
Well, let's give credit where credit's due. You said they used the Cavaliers' defensive playbook.
Yeah. Dunks give up. They took away the 30-footers and they gave them all dunks and layups.
Right. Yeah, it was a layup line, but they didn't score 200. No, not one team scored 200.
I wonder what. I'm not a betting guy. What was the over and under on that? Like 400 or
there's a lot of degenerate gamblers out there, but you bet on the over-under on an All-Star game. That's the degenerate of all degenerates.
That's like betting on the exhibition football games.
Yeah, or baseball for that matter.
Yeah, or anything for that matter. Unless you've got so much money, it doesn't matter if you lose.
That's a good point.
It doesn't matter.
But those who did see the game saw that the two teammates reunited, LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. We'll talk about that when we get back. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Less Levine, with new content posted each and every day. We'll check out some of your responses to a question we posed today. Jim Ingraham and I return in a moment. More Sports and Less Levine continues right here on cleveland.com.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
The heart-pounding, fast-breaking action of college basketball is back when the 2019 Mid-American Conference Basketball Tournament returns to the Q March 13th through the 16th, presented by Visit Myrtle Beach. Pulses will rise and hearts will race as the men and women of the MAC put it all on the line. Tickets for the MAC tournament are on sale now at the Q box office, online at theqarena.com, and at all Northern Ohio discount drug marts. MAC Tournament Basketball. Be there.
Well, today is the 18th of February, and other than my brother having a birthday, we've got some other good guys. Joe Gordon played with the Indians, managed the Indians. Len Ford, a defensive end for the Browns, a Hall of Famer in 1926. Gymnasium was born in 1947. John Mayberry and Alex Rios, along with Levine Bell, 1992, all born on the 18th of February. Time for a How Come Quickie, Jim. How come if an Ohio State cheerleader gets injured, can she become a red skirt freshman? Come on, I need an answer, and I need it now.
If she can't, she should be able to.
Right, just because it's funny.
Because of that, yeah.
Right, no other real reason. 216-575-0403. All right, Kyrie Irving wanted to be the man.
Yeah.
Is he the man?
In his mind, he'll always be the man. But practically, I think he's probably learning that being the man isn't as easy as it seems on paper.
It's not as good as being the man. Being the man is not as good as being the man.
Because when you're the man, you got to be the man. And I think he would rather be himself, which is not the man necessarily.
He's still a pretty good ball player, though.
He might be the best offensive player, I think even better than James Harden right now. I mean, he just...
In the game?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that he does a lot of that you don't see Harden do hardly at all is, and it's an unpopular shot in basketball now, but the mid-range jumper. I mean, he makes those.
It's either a slam dunk or it's a 30-footer.
Yeah. But I mean, Irving's like he can finish with either hand. He can penetrate. He can pass. He can shoot the three-pointers. I don't know how you guard him. I mean, when he's healthy, he's really, for a guy that size especially, he's unstoppable.
I was thinking about that in not just in basketball, where the game has changed totally. And there's no such thing as an inside, forget your mid-range shot, there's no such thing as an inside game either.
No.
When you have a big guy. Yeah. And it's kind of strange when the game first changed, you'd see the pass inside, and the European guy would throw it out, and they say, well, that's how they play it in Europe. Well, no, that's how they play it here now.
Yeah, I've seen some games this year in the NBA where it's almost just like three-ball practice. I mean, they go from one end, and they spread out, and somebody shoots a three, then they run down to the other line, and they shoot a three, and it's like real basketball is kind of disappearing.
You know what else I haven't seen in the NBA? A coach calling a play. During the team gets a rebound and they bring it up floor, you never see the coach calling a play or the guy looking over to the coach.
You don't even need a 24-second clock anymore. No. I mean, the ball, one or two passes, and that's it. Yeah. And somebody shoots, and Mike D'Antoni, I guarantee, has no plays. I mean, because he has Harden.
Right.
Harden will either shoot or he'll fake a pass and then shoot.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, a guy will take a three. And before it's halfway there, three other guys are down on the other side of the court. I'm going to say getting ready to play defense, but that's not the case either.
When we were younger and learning basketball, the old thing on a fast break, guys fill the lanes and you stop at the foul line, hit one of those guys. Nobody fills the lanes now. They fan out to the three-point line, and guys will have almost layups available to them, and they'll kick it out for somebody to try a three.
100 years ago or so, I was doing play-by-play for Cleveland State. It must have been 1986 or 7 when the three-point play first came to college. And the first time I saw it, Cleveland State's playing St. Joseph's out of the Big East. Or not the Big East, but the Atlantic 10, but out of Philadelphia. And it's a 3-on-1, as you're saying, a 3-on-1 where the two guys, you're expecting them to go inside and have the pass go to one or two because you only got one defender. And the guy pulls up and unloads a three-pointer, which was a shock to the eyes because he hadn't seen it, a 3-on-1 and a guy shooting a three-pointer. Mm-hmm. And then you think, you know what, that makes sense. If he makes it, he gets 3 points. If he doesn't make it, it should be 2-on-0 for the rebound, and you're going to get the 2 points on the rebound, theoretically.
Yeah, right. I kind of vaguely remember when that first came in, that rule, when they went over to the three-point rule, teams didn't use it nearly as much. It was almost
they needed it when they thought they needed it.
At the end of the game, when they had to catch up and they didn't have a lot of time to do it, they would start using it then, but they almost kind of ignored it for the first 3 quarters of the game.
Do you see anything in the Cavaliers that you like, or is it going to be, or is it all dependent on whether Williamson is the guy that they get to pick?
Well, that's what I like about the Cavaliers.
That they have that chance
to get him.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's really a unique player, and I'm not sure those other two guys on Duke are close to his level as far as a guy that can come in and immediately impact the team. Like if the Cavs got him, and if Love is still on the team, then you've got 2 guys you got to worry about the other team. Right. I don't think there's many guys on the Cavs that teams have to worry about right now.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Let's go to Mary, who's in Streetsboro, Ohio. Hello, Mary. How are you?
Good. How are you, Russ and Jim.
We're doing well.
Hi.
Wait, hold on. I'm doing well.
Okay.
How about you doing?
I'm doing well.
Okay,
too.
we're both
Okay.
doing well.
What now?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. All right. I was talking with the person that put me on the line. Cleveland Cavaliers, I want to talk about them, but in order to talk about them, I want to ask both of you about Zion Williamson out of Duke University. He's a phenom basketball player in the ACC. Duke is number 2 in the country. Scouts are looking at him. Cleveland is looking at him. If he turns pro, does Cleveland have a shot of getting Zion Williamson?
Well, the shot is how the ping pong balls go, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would think they're going to be bottom 3. So
Bottom three.
all 3 teams have the same percentage chance.
Same chance to get him.
Yeah.
Okay. All I know is if you've ever watched him play, and I watch all my Duke games as much as I can because I followed Duke since the early 80s.
Who's the player? Wait, hold on, Mary.
He is
Who's
definitely one of the best.
who's the player you're talking about? We had trouble hearing it.
I'm sorry,
Zion.
Williamson.
Oh, he's the best that's come along in what, several years, right?
Yeah.
Oh, several years. He's phenomenal. Just
Yeah.
to watch him, he's phenomenal.
Right. And he's a team player too, which is what I like about him. And then,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Mary, when you think about it, it's almost not fair. I mean, from a financial standpoint, it's fair that he's going to come out after 1 year. But imagine how good he would be if he played the regular 4 years and then gets ready to play. I mean,
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Well, I was even thinking if he decided to stay a second year because, Kyrie Irving was out of Duke. He turns pro, the whole 9 yards. So, I think the guy probably needs to work on a little bit of something. But is it better to do it in the pros or should he spend an extra year with Coach K?
Well,
I don't know. All I know is I just love watching him.
Yeah, well, you got to, if you're,
how great would it be if we were able to get him?
it would be great. It would be great. Thank you for the call, Mary. Good to talk to you. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. I look at the Cavs and I'm saying, who's that guy? Who's that guy?
Yeah.
Right?
Every time you watch a game, there's 3 guys you've never heard of before.
Right, or seen.
Yeah, and then you'll turn the game on after that, and they'll be gone.
Right. They should put their names on the back and the front, I think.
Yeah. It's a season, I think, unlike even, they've had some pretty bad years when LeBron wasn't on the team, but this one just seems particularly desolate. I mean, there's just...
Because there's been so many 25-point losses.
Yeah, and there doesn't seem to be... It's a tough situation, for example, for Sexton. He comes into a team where everyone's got their own agendas.
Right.
You're a teenage point guard.
Although he might have been better off if Kevin Love was with him.
Yeah, he would have been. But it's just such a disparate group of guys who are just... Half of them thinking they're auditioning for other teams, and the other ones are just trying to establish themselves in the league. So it's
or just get a paycheck.
Yeah. I mean, it's really kind of a hodgepodge of roster that just happens to be thrown together from game to game.
How about this Stauskas? He got traded 5 times in a week and a half, and was unemployed for a while.
Do you remember him at Michigan? He was
I do.
like
He was
a really
pretty good
player. I think he was like an 8th overall pick, and I'm kind of surprised his pro career hasn't been better.
But he hasn't settled down in one place long enough.
He's probably got uniforms from half the league in his closet.
And ties to go with it. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. How long do you... Well, if you get Williamson, that's one thing. If not, do you think there's a plan in place, or whatever happens, happens?
Well, I do think they've done a good job of accumulating draft picks, which is what you're supposed to do when you're in their position. So that'll be helpful. Now you got to make the right picks with those guys. I do think there's a huge drop-off between Zion and the other guys in that draft. I mean, even the other 2 Duke guys look pretty good, but Zion looks like he's just like biding his time at Duke. I mean, he's so clearly superior than anybody he plays against. That
of all the things that you've seen happen in Cleveland sports, and that's a lot of things, if Kyrie Irving, although I think the Knicks seem to be the play, and by the way, the Knicks are way worse than the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I was startled the other night. I didn't think that was possible. That someone could be that inferior to the Cavs.
It's almost like, look, it's not. Cavaliers should tell the league, it's not fair if we have the same chance to get Zion that they do, because they really need him more.
Yeah.
But when you look at the Cavaliers and you wonder, can the fans take it? And I saw one thing in a game the other night. The game got close. I forget who they were playing, but they had a shot of Dan Gilbert pumping fists, and they rarely show that. And that didn't look like a guy who wanted his team to tank. He looked like a guy who actually wanted to win, which surprised me.
Well, maybe he does want them to win, but I think, long term, that doesn't serve the purpose of what's going on with the team now. I mean, they need to get a top 3 or 4 pick, preferably the first pick because of who it's going to be. But it's an awkward situation in all sports when teams are in this situation where you have no chance to win, but you have to go through the motions and act like you really are trying to.
And then when you get that guy, by the time he is ready to really play in the NBA, he's eligible to go somewhere else.
Yeah, although in this guy's case, I think he'll be ready immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like him a lot.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk about Francisco Lindor. It's on everybody's mind if you're a baseball fan. He said a couple of things today that I mentioned earlier. We'll talk about that with Jim Ingraham from the Chronicle-Telegram. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. You can catch the excitement of live harness racing Monday through Wednesday and Saturday evenings with a 6 p.m. post time. Open early every day for simulcast action from the top thoroughbred and harness tracks all around the world. Enjoy the free handicapping contests all weekend long with the popular Road to the Derby contest. It's free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. We'll check out Francisco Lindor and more when we get back exclusively on cleveland.com.
Your basement is damp, dirty, and not somewhere you want to spend time. Let Nature Stone Flooring transform your basement into a true extension of your home. Nature Stone's proprietary hydrostatic ports allow water to simply evaporate, so no mold or mildew. Plus, it has a higher insulation rating than carpet and is warmer than linoleum, vinyl, wood, or tile.
Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone is the affordable basement floor solution that beautifies your home. Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Bunch of cones right next to each other, and I was running up and down, and when I went to take off, I felt the tap, and that's exactly how it happened.
So it's just a routine drill?
Yeah, it's something I've been doing for a long time. It's just I guess I wasn't prepared for that day, and that's my mistake.
Did you try training through it at all, or did you say something as soon as
No, I'm pretty good at not telling people when something happens, and I can stay quiet. And I felt that little touch, and it's different from what I felt before in different pains that I had in my body. And I went to take the next step, and I just couldn't push. So I was like, all right, guys. You on your own. I'm gonna sit down. I'll watch you guys do work.
What do you think about? They said 7 to 9 weeks. Do you think you'll be back before that?
I hope so. But it's funny with time frames. You never know. Like there's people that make it way before that, or there's people that are not even close to it. And to be honest, I just want to be focusing on what I got to do on a daily basis. And if I come back in 4 weeks, you'll be taking pictures out there. And if I come back in 9 weeks, you'll still be taking pictures. So it doesn't matter when I come back, as long as I come back and I can stay on the field on a daily basis to help my team win. That's what matters.
Do you think the blue hair had anything to do with the injury?
It could have been. Sometimes that dye seeps into you.
Right. Blue might be heavier than something else. First of all, he's not the guy. You don't want anybody to get hurt, but he's certainly not the guy that you'd want if anybody has to get hurt.
No, and does somebody have to get hurt?
If they do.
If they had to get hurt,
he's not the guy.
He would be at the bottom of the list
Right.
of guys you would want hurt, and now he's hurt.
Are you concerned, not being a doctor, or maybe you are a doctor in the off season, the fact that Lonnie Chisenhall supposedly had a similar injury and that never got right the whole season?
Well, you would presume that's coincidence, but you're right. That took forever for it to heal. I think 2 years in a row, Chisenhall had that kind of a thing. I think what's going to happen is they're going to be very conservative with this. I mean,
right.
Especially because when he comes up here, you're going to be playing in cold weather right off the bat. So.
I heard Sean Casey say, because he had that injury, he said, make sure he's right and ready to go, then wait 3 more weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be too cautious, especially, as we all know, in their division, it's not like one of the teams is going to run away and hide from everybody in April.
Right.
So, they got that going for him, and he really is their most important player, probably.
Tell me why the Indians, as constituted right now, are so heavily favored. Is it just the pitching? If heavily favored in their division, I've seen estimates or guesses of 91 to 96 wins on the season, which I'd be surprised that would maybe not 91 may not be impossible, but 96 doesn't seem right. Are you surprised by that when you consider that you almost have no outfield that we know of right now?
Well, yeah, that's true. But you think about this division, until these other teams start doing something to make you think that they're really into it, you're basically talking about 4, maybe not tanking teams, but teams that aren't ready to win yet. And you're going to play each of those 4 teams 19 times this year. So,
right.
You do the math there's 600 winning percentage for that many games. That gives you a good start. And
so you think the pitching is enough to get them into that area?
I do. I mean, the starting pitching is good or better than anyone else in the majors, and they've got 2 top 5 MVP candidates when Lindor's healthy. So that alone is a core good enough to win this division comfortably.
There's a pathway to get in good position, and that is beat the heck out of these teams, and assume that the East is going to beat each other up also. So let's say the number is 95 wins for Cleveland. Mm-hmm. I would assume that Boston and New York and even Toronto, or even Tampa Bay rather, might beat each other up and put the Indians in position where they can get the best record in the league.
Yeah, that's possible. The other 2 divisions, especially the East, is much better than the Central, and they are going to beat each other up in the East, and the Indians got to figure out a way to, if it ends up being them in Houston again, to get by Houston, right. Which is no easy matter.
So tell me who if it's not Lindor, who's your starting day, opening day lineup or shortstop? Yu Wang.
Chang.
Or Chang, rather?
It could be him, or it could be one of those non-roster guys they brought in, Flaherty.
Well, that's not good.
Well, presumably you're only talking about a week or 2 if this goes as they hope it will go. So,
I said the other night that when the big boys sign, and we're talking $250, $260 million, somewhere in there, that when they sign, the closer you get to opening day, the more chance that other available free agents might slip through the cracks and be available to the Indians. You subscribe to that?
Yeah, I think that's possible. I think what's also possible is whatever team Harper goes to, all of a sudden maybe one of their starting outfielders is
presumably
is available.
Philadelphia
or San Diego. I don't know where he may end up, but I would be willing to bet that almost any team in the majors has a better, more stable outfield than the Indians do right now.
Right.
So,
So who gets displaced will be better than what they have.
Yeah, I mean, the 4th outfielder on any team right now is probably better than what the Indians have on paper to start.
That's probably true. So the other thing is that other teams who are interested in free agents probably are not going to talk to 10 different guys. I don't think they have time to do that. With spring training, the games start. When's the first game against the Reds?
Saturday, I think.
This Saturday.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that happens is at the end of spring training or close to the end of the spring training, and teams get a better feel for their roster, there'll be some decent players will become available then that other teams don't have room for. So you can always, trades and waiver claims at the end of spring training are frequent ways that teams use to add a guy right at the end of the
Is there anybody that intrigues you in any way, shape, or form?
In that category?
Yeah.
Who intrigues me, and he's still not signed, and he'd probably be a little expensive, but maybe not so much the longer this goes, is Marwin Gonzalez.
That's the one we've been talking about the last 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he can play a number of positions. He's really
switch hitter.
He has good at bats almost every time up, and you know he's I'm sure looking for more money. Obviously, he is because he's not signed than other teams are willing to give. But that's the kind of guy. But you know they may end up having to get somebody lesser than that, but still better than what they have for opening day.
All right, when we get back, we'll take a look at some of the guys that you're talking about. I'm not surprised you said Gonzalez, because we've been talking about it. And somebody, I think it was Hoynesy, who said he's the exact kind of guy that Terry Francona loves.
Oh, versatility. Yeah, he loves those kind of guys, and you know that would be a perfect fit baseball-wise, but probably not economically the way they've been operating these days.
Or they can wait till the trading deadline, right?
You know, I think a lot of this is going on is these teams are waiting for these guys to lower what they're asking for, and they presume the closer you get to opening day, the less, you know, these guys maybe will accept less than they've been wanting.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like there's any activity that they're
not right now,
talking.
no. But you're still 6 weeks away from opening day.
Yeah,
too.
I'll tell you what concerns me is spring training is a long period of time for a reason, and guys get hurt, and I would think that some injuries may be coming out of this.
Well, one already has.
One already has,
Indians,
no question about it. All right, we'll take a break. We'll take a look at whether the Indians should make a big move, and if so, who should they make it with? You can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Less Levine. New content posted each and every day, and we'll get a look at some of your responses to our question of the day. And it's More Sports and Less Levine exclusively on cleveland.com.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
It takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling to bring the heat when things get chilly. Find us at 440-449-HEAT.
There is a lot of different people, but that's how it is in spring training. Spring training, you got a lot of new faces every single year. This year we definitely added more because we lost a couple guys. But at the end of the day, we got to go out there and play. We got to play the game the right way. We got to go out there and back each other up. And I truly believe that in the big leagues, if you play the game the right way and you grind at bats and you throw the ball you pitch the right way, you got a good chance of being successful. And it'll be fun. It'll be a year with a lot of ups and downs for sure, like every other year. Hopefully, we can overcome anything that steps in our way.
You guys are a bit younger, maybe more athletic this year.
I'm not. I'm hurt. I'm not athletic.
I bet you. How important will it be to get back to that style where you guys are going first and third or stealing bases? I know that's worked really well for you guys.
Very important. Very important. How many RBIs we lost? Might have lost, I don't know.
Close to 200.
Right. So we got to go first and third. We got to go second to home. We got to go from first to second, no matter what. It's easier said than done, but it's gonna be a good challenge. I'll love it. I personally love it. I think it can only make me and make my teammates better in the long run, and it's gonna be a good year. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. There might be a couple of days I show up to my room and be like, oh my God, what's going on? And there'll be other nights I'll go to my room and be like, yeah, we kind of good. We're pretty good.
Just with all the moves they made during the winter? You mean?
Yeah, brother, the front office, it's not dumb. They know what they're doing. They have a plan. They're really good at what they do, you know? And they have always put us in the best spot to be successful every single year. Sometimes it's going out spending money. Sometimes it's cutting budget, you know? But they're gonna put us in the best spot to be successful. And then it's on us for us to perform. If we don't perform, it don't matter who you got, you ain't going nowhere.
Well, he could help them out if he just signed a 5-year extension.
Yeah. And then maybe he could get Kyrie to join him.
Exactly. All right, Derek Dietrich of St. Ignatius signs a $2 million minor league deal with the Cincinnati Reds. There you see his stats. He's the guy the Indians I thought were interested in from Miami, or was that bogus?
Yeah, I mean, his name came up. I mean, he's got some versatility and he's a decent major league hitter.
So he'll go to the Cincinnati Reds, stays in state from his home. But is it time to make a real big move? If there's a stalemate in some of the big boys, and I'm talking about Harper and Machado, any reason to offer a 1-year crazy deal to these guys?
I actually wrote a column on that the Indians should just offer Harper 1 year $30 million or 1 year $25 million.
Right, and let him go through the process next year.
Yeah, you
again?
can have a big year. You could probably hit really well in progressive field.
Right.
Go back into the thing next year, and maybe you'll get the offer you're really looking for.
All right, so that has some legs. How about Machado? Would you do that? I think he showed himself off as a bad guy to have on your team.
I agree with that.
The Dodgers.
Yeah, I agree with that, and he doesn't have an obvious position with the Indians, although I guess you could put him
Right.
at third.
Well, there's his situation. 7 years in the league, .297 batting average, or .297 in 2018, and hit 37 homers, 107 RBIs. But there are the likely destinations. The Indians not listed there, but the Padres, the Phillies, and White Sox, most likely destination. Now, you mentioned earlier that it doesn't look like any of the teams in the Indians division have improved themselves. If the White Sox get Machado, does that make them significantly better or not?
Oh, yeah, it will, but they were beyond significantly worse last year, so that gets them back
have to improve just to be worse?
That gets them back to mediocre.
Yeah, right. Now, here's some other names. I'll throw them at you. Let's take a look at Dallas Keuchel. He's a Cy Young Award winner, right? What's his? Well, we have Bryce Harper first. Harper is also 26 years old. Last year, .249 batting average, 34 homers, 100 RBIs. And the Phillies, Padres, Nats, Giants, and the White Sox, most likely destination. Now you have Dallas Keuchel, 31 years old, 12 and 11 last year. Asking for an awful lot of money for a guy who was 12 and 11, but I guess wins and losses apparently don't mean anything anymore.
No, I don't even know why you put that up there.
Yeah. So what does mean something?
Whip.
Whip. All right. But he has not drawn serious interest from any team. Why not? All right, that's Julio. That's not Julio. That's Jose Iglesias, who of course played with the Tigers. 29 years old, 7 MLB seasons, and I don't think the Indians are interested in him in any way.
They're pretty set at shortstop, I think. But, yeah.
At least for 3 years.
Yeah.
Here's the guy we were talking about, Marwin Gonzalez, last year hitting .247, 16 homers, 68 RBIs, and the Indians, the Mariners, Twins, White Sox, and Astros seen as potential landing spots. I'm not sure they would go back, that Houston would go back at him, but maybe they would.
It would be good if the Indians did sign. Then it would basically be a Brantley for Gonzalez trade between the two.
Yeah, pretty much. You think it's about the numbers are about the same?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. When we come back, we'll take a look at our Facebook question of the day and what you had to say about it. Jim Ingraham is with us, and more sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com. Cleveland's oldest family owned and operated restaurant in Northeast Ohio and Cleveland. That's Sokolowski's University Inn. They win every award there is to win, whether it's the top 10 restaurants in town, top 50, top 100. How about the James Beard Foundation? They think they're one of the top 5 in the country. Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn. Take the Abbey Avenue exit out of downtown Cleveland. First exit, go under the bridge. That's where you find Mike and Bernie's place. It is terrific there since 1923. Jim and I return in a moment exclusively on cleveland.com.
The concrete in your garage is uneven, cracked, pitted, and just plain ugly. Transform your garage into a welcoming entryway with Nature Stone flooring. Reduce tracked-in dirt, eliminate puddling and salt damage. Plus, Nature Stone corrects uneven concrete so you don't have to worry about tripping or slipping.
Call or go to naturestone.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone is the affordable garage floor solution that beautifies your home. Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Jim, let's take a look at this date in sports history. February 18th, 1984, the 4 millionth point was scored in the NBA. I believe it was in the All-Star game that year. All 4 million.
How'd you like to be the guy that researched that?
This date in Les Levine history, February 18th, 1968, Jim, the fraternity house bookie made the following offer. If you bet with him at the racetrack instead of at the window, the incentive would be that he would buy you a program, a hot dog, and a small Sprite.
Wow, so that's like bat day or glove day at the ballpark.
That's exactly it, no question about it. We asked you a Facebook question of the day. Of the free agents not named Harper or Machado, who would you want the Indians to be signing? And we'll take a look at some of the responses that we got today. Andy Mees says, with the uncertainty with Frankie to begin the year, the versatile Marwin Gonzalez would be a solid pickup. If Frankie is shelved at the outset of the season, Marwin could play short, then fill a void in the outfield when Frankie is back. And his versatility could also allow Francona to give regulars like Jose, Santana, and perhaps Kipnis some at-bats at designated hitter, giving them a break from defense. Glenn says Marwin Gonzalez is my choice, a switch hitter who can play several positions in the field. He'll be 30 years old, though, this season, but he's still young enough they can put him in the outfield to replace Brantley. Lawrence says on this one, Lawrence Butler says anybody who can hit and play the outfield. Angelo says Adam Jones. I don't know about that. Dan says it's too late. I wanted Moustakas, but he signed with the Brewers. Frank says Logan Morrison. And Dennis says nobody. Just finished the fire sale. Wow.
I wouldn't call it a fire sale.
No, what is it?
It's a selective reduction of the
selective
talent pool.
reduction of talent. You mean like a fire sale?
Well, it's how many salaries can we get rid of and still win this division?
Is that the game they're playing?
Yeah, that's the game they're playing all through the winter.
So when they throw out a name in the meetings, they say, nope, that'll cost us, we have stats to show that'll cost us a game and a half more than we'd like to.
We would only win the division by 10 games instead of 12.
Have you decided to give in and learn all the new letters out there and the?
I've tried, yeah. The WAR is the one I use the most, and I think it has value. But my problem with WAR is it's like computed 3 different ways, so there's no consensus even on how to arrive at the WAR, like how you arrive at it. So it's not like there's 3 different ways to figure out the RBI totals of a
right. And doesn't hitting 300, driving in 100 runs and 35 homers, doesn't that still mean anything?
It does, but I think the analytics people put more value in on-base percentage rather than batting average, and even RBIs. I mean, they say that's a product of how many guys get on base in front of you, not what you yourself are
right.
doing.
You can't drive in a guy if he's not on base.
Right.
I guess. I don't know if they have redone everybody's in history, right? I assume, and I wonder how many guys they found out we thought could be good, and they'll say, nope, he really wasn't any good because of the war.
That was one of my, and they probably would call it naive views on this whole thing, is I don't think in the whole history of baseball we've missed, Hall of Fame caliber players because we didn't have analytics to figure it out. I mean,
they were still pretty good.
I think we got all the guys that should be in the Hall of Fame, and probably a little more are in there now. So, but it does help you for the middle ground where you're trying to, as teams are now, trying to really parse it down, as closely as you can. And is this guy the 100th best guy in the league or the 101 best guy?
I've been distracted by the numbers all day. I'm still thinking about the report on Bezos, the head of the Amazon. Mm-hmm. Last night they did a documentary on him, and Bernie Sanders says the guy makes $275 million a day.
A day?
A day, including weekends.
Yeah, but think how much taxes you have to pay.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
It wouldn't even really be worth it if you think about it.
Okay. Let me turn for 1 second back to Jimmy Haslam, who we had on behind me there. You think that he's learned to stay away now, or he's fighting himself to stay away, or because that's all good that he is away?
That's how I interpret it. I mean, he's certainly taken a little lower profile in this coach hiring than the other ones, and I think he's hopefully finally learning from his mistakes, which are plentiful. That let the professionals run the football team. You just be the owner.
Don't you think that's really hard to talk a guy into who's been on top of the world his whole life?
Well, it is, and that's the reason why across all the professional sports you see guys who are million and billionaires in their professions, and they get their hands on a pro sports team and turn it into nothing, and it's because everyone thinks that they can run a football team or a baseball or basketball team, and they can't because there's a lot of stuff that goes on with that.
I think it was Mike Hargrove who said there's two things that every man thinks he can do better than the guy doing it, and that's managing a baseball team and cooking a steak on the grill.
Yeah. And the other thing with baseball is, unlike basketball and to a certain degree football, I think everyone played baseball growing up.
Right,
so everyone has that experience in their mind. So therefore, that makes them
right. They
really,
were a good second baseman on their softball team for a lot of years.
Yeah. So who wouldn't go with what he says?
Right. I haven't seen you in a while since the Freddie Kitchen decisions. You okay with that, or you got a thought on that?
I was a little ambivalent about him until I heard him talk, and everything he said made a lot of sense to me. I think I really like him now. I think this could be a really good choice for them.
Well, he did a good job with the quarterback and the running backs.
Yeah, I mean, it really was dramatic. I mean, before he took over as the offensive coordinator, we all saw it, and then we saw how it looked when he took over. So, if he can be a leader, there's a big jump between being even a coordinator to being a head coach. But he looks like he's got a feel for that.
I would like to see him talk with one of your favorite guys, Charlie Manuel. Get the two in a conversation.
Yeah, I thought about that when I was listening to him. There was a certain similarity in their cadence and accent and everything. And
yeah, but you know what? The accent sticks out in both of them. But when you listen to what they say, they know their stuff.
Which is exactly what everyone said about Charlie Manuel.
Right.
I mean, you get distracted by how they sound and don't pay attention to what they're saying.
Right. 216-575-0403. If you want to get in before the end of the program, you can do that right now. But I do want to tell you about Northfield Park. It's your home for live and simulcast racing. You can enjoy the excitement of live harness racing Monday through Wednesday, as well as Saturday evenings, 6 p.m. post time. Free admission, free parking every day. That's at Northfield Park. Jim and I come back one more time. More sports and Les Levine continues right here exclusively on cleveland.com.
When my dad started Nature Stone, he created a solution for age-old concrete problems: unevenness, cracking, pitting, and more. Nature Stone solves all of these problems in garages, basements, and outdoor spaces. Nature Stone is beautiful, environmentally friendly, and affordable. Plus, Nature Stone is backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty.
Call or go to naturestone.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
All right, tomorrow night, Bud Shaw from WKYC.com joins us. You see us, of course, Monday through Friday from 6 until 7. That's live, and then you can watch it anytime on cleveland.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, More Sports and Less Levine, with new content posted each and every day. Wednesday, Dan Lobby will be here. We'll talk Browns football. Dennis Maniloff, the D-man, will be here on Thursday. Cleveland Bill writes in, he says, it's good that the Cavs appear to be a hodgepodge team, which is designed to get the extraordinary Zion you two have been lauding. I don't think I've ever used the word laud. Is that a word you would use?
That's an old school word.
It is one. Yeah. His question, if the Cavs get Zion, will Kyrie want to come back to Cleveland? I would doubt it.
I think the first thing that has to be settled is where's Anthony Davis going? Because if he goes to Boston, obviously Kyrie, I presume, would stay there, although he might creep into, Kyrie's the man thing. So
he'll be less of the big man.
Yeah. I'm not sure Kyrie even knows what he wants at this point.
Let's go to the phones. Let's go to BP, who's standing by in Pepper Pike. Hello, BP.
Hey, guys. How do you know I'm standing?
Oh, you're standing?
No, actually, I'm sitting.
Okay, well, you're sitting by.
Yes, thanks.
What's up?
I just wanted to clarify. First, I want to give a shout-out to one of your loyal listeners and viewers, Pete, down in Naples. He's a great guy.
Pete in Naples. Do I know him?
Not personally. He's just a fan.
He's a fan. All right, well, say hello to him also.
You got it. But since you got Jim there, I did want to say I heard that Bradley Zimmer was at spring training today or over the weekend. What's the status on Zimmer? Do you know?
Yeah, Francona talked about him today and said that Zimmer thinks he's ahead of the timetable to have him back and that everything's going well. And, they're optimistic. I think it's still going to be a month or two into the season before he gets back. But they seem to think that everything's progressing the way they hoped it would progress.
I feel better about the outfield if he's healthy and he's the guy.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by him. He's just got to kind of tone it down with the Grady Sizemore recklessness out there.
What do you think is his potential? Sort of like what can he project to be? What type of give me a guy that's like a major leaguer, or like who does he project to be? Bradley Zimmer, if all things go well for him.
I think he can be a 15 to 20 homer guy, and he can affect the game with his bat, his speed, his base on the bases, and with his arm. I mean, he's played really good defense when he's been out there. He's just got to kind of tone it down and be a little more judicious when he's jumping into fences.
When you think of him, or when you look at him, you think of him more of a power guy and a run producer. But he's not. That's not his game. His game is taking that extra base, challenging the outfielders.
The next step for him is to cut down on the strikeouts, which were really kind of getting out of control there before he got hurt. But he's got enough athletic ability that I think he's potentially an above-average big leaguer.
I wanted to mention that I think maybe one thing maybe the Indians are doing, or maybe they're just going to try to bide their time with their pitching. Then with Lindor's injury, then maybe at the trade deadline, they'll just find a team like whatever, a small market team or a team that's struggling, and they'll just pick up their outfielder or DH type of player. What do you think of that idea?
I don't
think what they're trying to do here, like just bide their time and wait for the trade deadline.
Well, that's possible. I don't think if and when they do make some kind of a deal like that it's going to be a blockbuster deal where it's going to be a really big name guy. It's going to be a guy that's going to be an upgrade over what they have, which not necessarily going to be a star, but a guy that can do more than what they're going to put out there. I think, it wouldn't surprise me if they started out with what they have just to see how it looks and how things progress. I mean, maybe some of these guys that, right now don't seem like impact guys are going to have good first month or two, and they don't have to feel the need to
I didn't
get somebody.
think about it, what you said earlier tonight, that, okay, the Indians on paper have not improved themselves, in fact, may not be as good, but it may not matter because the other guys haven't improved themselves either significantly.
Yeah, but in the bigger picture, everything they do has to be predicated on how does this help us in the first round of the playoffs, get by whoever we have to face. And they've subtracted a lot of talent off of last year's team, so when they get to the postseason, they're going to have to either pitch better, or the hitters who did nothing the last postseason are going to have to do more.
I think Brantley is a big loss. I don't know if they can replace
that. He
that.
was their best.
You took him for granted.
Smartest, hitter and just a leader, and that's a key guy because that. The first four in their lineup last year were all-star caliber players,
right?
And now this year you've got maybe two guys.
You feel confident that Ramirez, that was just a bad month that he had, month and a half? You think he's okay?
I think he just got caught up in the greatness of his season, unfortunately, and he just tried to do too much. And
I think he tried to hit too many homers.
Yeah, he did, and I think he's had a winter to regather himself, and I think he's done enough before this to lead you to believe that he has a track record to duplicate.
BP, anything else?
That's it. I also wanted to mention, it's hard to believe the Cavs season is 71% over, which is good news because the pain will be over soon.
You whittled it down to 71%?
Yeah.
I would have used 70, but that's just me.
They played 58 games. They played 60 games out of 80, so it's almost about 75%.
Why is the All-Star game? You know what? I think they're moving to the point where the All-Star game now will wait till the end of the regular season, then they'll play that, then they'll start the playoffs.
Well, maybe they can make it like the Pro Bowl where no one pays any attention to it and the players don't even want to play in it.
Right.
Then we can just get past it.
Right.
I mean, the All-Star game, to me, it's a joke. I said that before on the fan a couple of days. I said everybody's excited, and then the first 2 minutes, after 2 minutes, it turns into a farce. And it was a farce. And
and when you're talking 178 in any sport, that's too much.
Yeah, well, maybe they should just have the dunk contest, the three-point shooting contest, and the skills thing, and then just send everybody home. Don't even play again.
Good idea. In fact, they had to do that with the hockey All-Star game. Have a slam dunk contest on skates.
Skates. Now we're getting somewhere. Yeah, I would pay to see that.
For the NBA All-Star game, I mentioned this to Jonathan Peterlin on the fan the other day on the radio. That they should just play it up like first team of 120 wins. This way, someone has to play defense to stop.
Remember when all the
team.
games are under 100 in
But
the
then you
regular
would only
season?
play
Thanks,
one
BP.
Then you would only play one quarter if you were playing
120. First one to 120 wins. Pat McCabe, I used to work with him at WHK, he had a great idea to improve the game of hockey.
Yeah.
2 pucks.
It's not crazy enough.
Well, you have to decide. Do I want to attack with 2 pucks in that zone, or do I want to play back 1-1, play defense?
Yeah. And I would say remove the goalies. Then you get some scoring.
You can do that. All right, that'll do it for us. Thanks to Jim Ingraham. Chronicle Telegram does a great job as always. We appreciate it very much. Tomorrow night, Bud Shaw will be here from 6 until 7. We'll see you then. Of all the shows I've ever done, this is the most recent.